Pip pip. Evening all. G4XAT. Welcome to the BATC Thursday evening QO-100 Net. Trust you're all keeping well. I've got my BDI on the chat, so if something's not coming through, please put a comment in the chat. 11 of us on tonight so far. There's a running order up. And if you only want one over, please state at the end. That'll make it easier for me to manage. Anyway, I think we've all probably enjoyed the high pressure. We were very lucky. As you may know, I've been away for a week's holiday up in sunny Scotland. And I tell you what, I've never seen Scotland blue sky 2 days on the road, like not a cloud in the sky. We caught the train up to Edinburgh and then borrowed Son's car and drove across to Oban. Spent one night in that area and then moved up towards Fort William and Glencoe and drove back that late afternoon. 2 days of absolutely blue sky and then back to Edinburgh. And we had some blue sky there as well. Certainly didn't get rained on, which is all very nice. Hopefully my PA issues have been solved, as you can see. It was a very strange fault, and I think, I'm not 100% certain, but I think one half of the PA, there's two devices in the final, one half of them was going intermittent. It produced very strange waveforms, and obviously when it wasn't being good in the RF department, the signal was going down and then back up again. So initially it looked short gate to source, and then by the time I got the whole thing to bits, really to bits, taking the pallet off the heatsink, it wasn't showing short. Anyway, I thought, well, I've got two spares, so I modified one of the spares and bolted it back in. Is that a bit loud then, Michael? I guess that probably is. Let's try turning it down a few dB, if that's any better. Right, where were we? Yeah, fixing the PA, so that's good. And the Pluto that I initially blamed, I can't find a fault with it. I'm not using it tonight. I'm using the Libra, but I tested it earlier and it's fine. So who knows? Anyway, it's all going portable on Saturday, probably. I'm helping out at Cray Valley Radio Society. They're running Mills on the Air at the Mepham Windmill, and I'm going to put on some DATV for them. And they also want to try narrowband, so I've spent some time checking my Langstone and making sure that when you set it on the QO-100 CW beacon, it matches the dial and things like that. And then if you go up the band a bit and talk to yourself with the monitor, it seems to be on frequency. But I think I've had a couple of QSOs with Martin, G4FKK on narrowband, and that's it. It's like, yeah, it works. That's good. Okay. What else? We enjoyed our journey on the train. That was also smooth, no problem there. 4 hours 8 minutes from King's Cross to Waverley. It makes it a lot easier than driving. And I think we did about 335 miles across to Oban and back. Very, very slow back from Glencoe to Edinburgh. It was only like 110 miles. It took 3 hours. I'm not sure why, because we didn't appear to be going slow at any point. Anyway, that's enough about that. There's 10 more of us to go, and I'd assume that 5 minutes over with a non-transferable bonus, otherwise we'll be here all night, round to Martin, G8 KOE, to take it. Let's stick the test card up. G4XAT. Over.
yeah, from G8 KOE. Let's see where we got a bit of sound, make sure. Coming back. Probably find that the sound's too low. Anyway, we'll keep going at that level for the moment. I think it's in sync. 1, 1. Right. Yep. I've not, since I did the initial setup method that I used, it's just remained stable using Simon's program. What have I been up to? Been playing SRT, basically my favourite sort of subject, with the VK boys. Most mornings I'm on and linking up with them into their repeater, which is VK3 RTV, usually with a 1 after it, which usually is on the BATC side of things, but on the stream. But also VK3IE will usually stream it to me. And talkback via All-Star is the easiest answer to do to set things up and sort of say go. They're interested in getting a few other stations. Like John JTT did some tests this morning, and well, I'll let him talk about his findings. And the KLB man with his wobbly cam or whatever, which is very famous over there. They're hoping to see him, I think. I did warn them about extending the timeout. The other thing they do use is Discord, which I'm not sure what I think of it, but when I was working through on their net, which is on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock UK time, but it's in the evening for them, I was working through and I had All-Star, which was giving me the sort of chit-chat, but the only way I was watching it was through various streams, which was the time when the BATC suffered some problems and everybody else suffered some problems. And the guy that runs the Discord over there had problems with his, had a power surge or something, and that wasn't working very well. But anyway, we got through, and the net sort of progressed on, and we made it. So, and this morning I was on again testing. I was probably on tomorrow morning again testing, but that happy for anybody that's interested. But I think you really need All-Star, ideally as a talkback, or Discord possibly. But you know, I'll give a bit more information. John will give a bit more information, but they don't want anybody just keying up and leaving their transmissions on, because their repeater system is quite involved and switches between different aerials. So it can be quite slow before you actually end up coming through. But you can usually tell from OBS, obviously, whether you're connected or not, because if the stream's going, and RF takes priority over the stream. So if someone's on and you've been told to go, you can go, and once they drop out the RF signal, then you'll pop in. But it'll all become clear. I expect to be a few more on their net repeats that they've seen. And we've been playing with, or doing tests with Rob and Joe. Joe is VK3TT, who's been playing with the ATM Mini, which he's got working on us, streaming into it. So that will work, but you've got to put in, update the firmware, because SRT didn't come in until part way in or something. But he will always give information from his website or whatever, his YouTube channel. And Rob has also been playing. I've been playing with the Zoe box, and the Link Pi has been being played with. Now, working with Joe, we did some tests. I was sending signals. He was picking them up and sending them back to my SRT repeater here. And the round trip was 3 seconds. Was the best we got. Obviously, things can vary a bit depending on all the equipment, etc., etc., etc. but that was a round trip, which was pretty good. Anyway, the levels are perfect. No, they can't be perfect there. I can't have that. Yeah. Anyway, I've exceeded my time limit. I'll only make this one over because the net's obviously going to go on, and I need to look after Carol a little bit later on. So if you just mark me down for this one over, apologies, I've exceeded the time by 30 odd seconds. So round to Simon, I think, next, and hope I haven't sort of confused things too much, but John will correct me later on. I'll play my usual finishing screen, and over to you there, Simon, from Jake Carey.
Here we go. Good evening, everyone. Simon here, G4ELI. First, a comment, Gareth. You've got quite a high resolution. One thing I added in the version you're running is the ability to drop the resolution down, and that does help a lot with the video encoding. Right, not much been happening here. In fact, nothing has been happening here at all with SDR television. 1.0.16 will become version 1.1 when I get around to it in the next few days. I've actually been quite busy writing some other software, which I'll show you in a bit. But first of all, something which turned up, and wherever my mouse is, something which turned up from Crowd Supply, or whatever they're called. Yes, Crowd Supply. So I'm just switching over to my monitor. It's a proposed project, a bias power supply for L-band, which is what we're using at the moment on Receive. But what's interesting about it is you'll be able to switch the voltage over via software. Now, in my case, I have to go next door. I'll put myself back on shortly. I have to go next door and switch the voltage over. And they've got a few pictures there. That's actually an ETUS, if anybody's not sure. A very expensive piece of ETUS, now National Instruments stuff. And that's what it's going to look like inside. Will be interesting to see what that costs. Now, myself, I've been playing with software. Now, I have a program you may not have seen called Simon's World Map, for want of a better title, and I think it's pretty obvious what it is. And I've often been asked if I could display information similar to DX maps. So here comes a picture of DX maps. There we go. It's not very easy to see, so let's maybe go to 50 megs. Even worse. But I'm sure you know what this is. This is showing all the contacts. Well, the answer is, well, not the answer is, but what I'm doing is I'm actually adding this into my software, into Simon's World Map, using something called an MQTT server, which is it's running as a broker, serving spots from PSK Reporter. And bring myself back. And PSK Reporter is rather interesting because Phil Gladstone, who started that project, he started it when I was in the early days of writing Ham Radio Deluxe. I had a digital program called DM780, Digital Master 780, the 780 actually being a reference to the wonderful old fax 11780s. And so after about 20 years since Phil started that, I'm actually using PSK Reporter indirectly through an MQTT broker. So next Thursday, I expect I hope to be demonstrating this. Otherwise, that's it. No idea where Mike MJW is. I don't know if he's still MIA or whatever, but no doubt he'll come back. And Michael, you've told us you smoked, but what are your other bad habits? Over to Keith. Enough from me. Oh, somebody's told me Mike's in France. Is he, dear? Is he really? Oh, well, there you go. So over to Keith on the channel R's from G4ELI.
Yeah, okay, Simon, thank you. Have I got
Okay, Simon, thank you.
Yeah, my audio's there and it doesn't appear to be too loud. Good evening, everybody. And welcome back there, Gareth. Pleased everything's sorted out okay. Was happy to run the net tonight if you still had issues. Well, Simon, MJW was definitely in the UK on Tuesday because I actually had an SSB QSO with Mike on 2 meters, direct from Guernsey to Mike. No moon bounce, no satellites, nothing else involved apart from squirting RF in each other's direction. So that was in the UK AC contest, so that was going well. Rather busy at the moment, both with work, and this weekend is Saturday is obviously the 9th of May, and for Guernsey that is a big celebration, Liberation Day as it's known over here. The Channel Islands in 1945. We celebrate it on the 9th, but
in preparing them for sale, getting them calibrated before they get out the door, B, actually packing them up and sending them off to people. I think we've sold 12 of them now, and also modifying the software to the on the Portstown to the latest standard, so everything is now up to date on the Portstown, the latest release, and all seems to be working well. I did take advantage of the good weather at the last weekend to do some work in the garage, tidying it up. I had a bench that had become a dumping ground like benches in garages do, and managed to clear most of the rubbish off it and put some shelves up to accommodate some of the rubbish. So I've actually got some clear bench space in there now. Welcome back, Gareth, from your Scottish trip. Pleased you had a good time. Mike MJW was on the Tuesday net, but he travelled to Paris, I think, yesterday, or travelled to France yesterday. Saw a tweet from him on his way there. I'm only going to come on once tonight. I haven't got a lot new to say, so I'll go back to that nice picture that I took. I reckon I took that 46 years ago, and I will pass it round to John, G7JTT, and the
Right, can I get to the mute button? There we go. Good evening all. Yeah, I haven't done too much other than, as Martin alluded to, worked into VK3 RTV this morning via SRT, which was quite cool. We've kind of done it before when we did the BATC QO party things, but now they've got a Discord and All-Star connected to it. It just means that the delay isn't too unbearable. So yeah, I know Peter down there. He's the guy that owns it and runs it. Big friendly giant. I think he's VK3 or VK6. I can't remember what number he is, but BFG is what he is anyway. So he's quite cool about it. Certainly, I think I was probably a bit of a shock with the length of over I had, but I had full support of Martin, obviously backing me up and not quite taking the mickey out of me for long overs. What else have I been doing? Not too much, to be honest. She's off now for the rest of the week, yay. So lots of shopping to do now. And then on Monday we're going to York for the day, for a couple of days actually. So that'll be interesting. I hope I survive it. The last time we did a big trip away, we went to Sheffield, and only spent a day there, but went to Sheffield, which was really, really nice, like Sheffield, and then spent a considerable number of hours in A&E afterwards. So definitely don't want that to happen again. What else? Oh, yeah, the software stuff. Yeah, I do like your world map, Simon. I've got it on my big monitor here. When I'm not watching the TV, it tends to be on, just watching things go round. It's yes, well, she's talking about updating the TV in the lounge again. It's starting to get, the colours are getting a bit funny with it. I think the backlight thing's starting to go on it. So if she does upgrade that, I may bring that here, and actually on the wall over there, which you can't see, but there's a big blank area at the moment, so I may put it up there and just have that world map thing going all the time. It would be quite easy to do. There is a computer over there, so yeah, I could do it quite easily. But I could also do it with one of my little Linux boxes and Windows Wine, whatever it's called. It'd probably work in that, I'm sure. So yeah, that's cool. I did get my, I don't know if I said on here, I can't remember whether it was or not, but the PK232 I resurrected a few days ago, or a few weeks ago now, no, a few days ago, or a week ago, I can't remember. And that's working really well on RTTY and stuff, and a bit of APRS, which I still don't really understand, but it seems to do it okay. But it's now just left collecting dust again, so not been the most useful of things to try. Yeah, the interesting thing now is the service provider that it shows from the port stand now. It shows its port stand for Monkjack with the firmware version as well. So it'd be interesting to see who else is going to be using a Monkjack soon on the satellite. Should imagine there'll be a few more shortly, and I know locally somebody's using one already. Not on QO-100, but he's used it to get into the repeater. The memorial flight was up today. You had the hurricane, and the hurricane was in night fighter colours, so very much black, which was pretty cool, to be honest. I've not seen that one before. And the Spitfire were displaying. The license is called, they have to do some form of display every 10 days, or they lose their license and they have to test again. As to me,
okay, I got to get to the volume control. Okay, come on, that's it. I clicked start streaming by mistake. Hang on, stop streaming. There we are. That's I just force a habit that. Oh, I haven't started the timer. Quick, better start my timer, just in case, as it's very busy today. But well, it sounds like Martin's got his internet sorted. I'm hoping, because I know he's had a few problems with that over the period. But with all this activity, sounds like it must be hopefully finally resolved, Martin. But very good indeed. But yeah, John. Yeah, every 10 days. Yeah, that's definitely definitely a thing, isn't it? They have. Oh, well, I have to go flying. You can't keep them down once they start. That's it, really. But very good. Well, what have I been doing? I did actually have to go back to work once, not to do any work, but to take receipt of this wondrous trophy, which unfortunately there's a lot of reflection on this, but it's oh, there we are. You can just about see it. It's got a plaque. It looks like looks like someone's died. I don't know, but it's got a plaque on there, which you can't read anyway. You can see. You can't really read it, but it's got my length of service on there. 18th of the 8th, 1980 to the 24th of the 4th, 26. 28th of the 4th, 26. It looks like with one of the this was done by a place called Petra, which is a place in Swindon that does our repairs. It's postal engineering. It's a repair place anyway. But apparently there's a guy there that makes these, and he's put a bit of the machine. I know exactly. This is a CPU or the processor part of. Plugs into another great big board, huge board actually. But yeah, so they presented me with that. I don't know. Not really sure really. But anyway, there we are. It's got the process MC68000 DR10. It's a classic processor that, and a couple of EPROMs. I'm thinking I might be able to use those EPROMs for something. So that's that. But I've started doing a little bit in the shack. I've got a monitor. I thought it might be handy to have a monitor on the bench, but it's in the way. I put a light over the top as well, so I can actually see, which works brilliantly. A little light. In fact, it's in the upright position now. It's not normally in this position, but it gets in the way if you want. But a great big LED light. But that is fantastic on the bench. It seems to have got a bit darker in here. But yeah, it's coming along. The bench is in a mess. But the other thing is I've got this monitor here that I've just wired up and done all the wiring and everything on that. So, but I can push it. It can park right out the way. It's fantastic. It goes right up in the corner out the way there, and is balanced so that it's easy to move. So not too bad at all. So we're gradually getting the shack back into some sort of shape. So it's a long job. It's a long job, but I got plenty of time, so or I will have. I do find though that I've been sidetracked a little bit with one thing and another. The XYL seems to want to get me to do alternative works, but so getting time in here has proven to be somewhat problematic. But anyway, there we go. Right, okay, that's probably it, I think. Let me just check on the chat, see what's going on. That's it, I think. Right, okay then. That's I think it's going over to G3IUZ. I will have something more interesting to say, I'm sure. Anyway, over to you, Roger. G4KLB.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Colin. That's thought I'd put up a different. No, it's not a test card. This is running live. Good evening, everybody. I've been around watching you all over the last few weeks, but haven't actually come on. But thought I'd better make an effort tonight. Nice big net, which is nice to see. What are you looking at? That is a Stuart 10 vertical engine, which I've just finally decided to finish. It's one of those jobs that my other side of the hobby, of course, is down in the workshop on model engineering, and I started this some time ago. I thought really ought to finish it and put it on a decent base. So there we are. So I hope that will amuse you. Just sort of rotate it around just so you See, it will. It's meant to be a high-speed engine, and if you turn the wick up a bit, it is a high-speed engine. There we are. Just sort of. It's just running on air, of course. It's meant to run on steam, but steam's a bit messy. But so it's a sort of glass case model, news the family, and a certain amount of satisfaction in making such things. I'm going to bore you with another one a few weeks' time, a beam engine, but which I'm now trying to tidy up and finish. It's been sitting around in a semi-finished state for rather a long time. But there we are. We'll just slow it down. I think they look a bit more interesting when they're going slowly. Anyway, there we are. So let's go back to the other camera. Just where we are. There we are. So that's about me. Apart from that, the only RF it's been generating is on video, and it's on Whisper, and it is very satisfying. Monday, I think I had 12 spots from Australia on 3 different bands between 8 different stations, and yesterday ZL. All this on less than a watt on a piece of random wire. Quite amazing. I've been doing it for years, but I still find it amazing. Whisper. There we are. Anyway, there we are. That's enough for me for today. Let's pass it on to where's the list? It's to G0DQH. So James, if you're ready, I will pass the net to you, and I will only come back if there's anything particularly, but I don't think I've got much else I want to talk about tonight. So let's go to let's just go back to the little engine a moment. Make a change.
Just checking the audio. Okay, that's fine. Yes, good evening, everyone. From DQH. I put together a bit I've typed out on the PC. It's to do with Crest and Australia. So if you don't mind, I'll read from this. It's pointless me trying to memorize it because I would never be able to finish it. A short while after emigrating to Perth in Western Australia in the 80s, I joined Crest, the CB emergency service. There were 3 operational stations, Sydney, Perth and Darwin. The Darwin station operated out of the prison and was operated by the inmates. Our station was in Wanneroo, a short distance drive from my home in Mullaloo. The operations director for Crest in WA was Horst Kruner. The station's tower was 3 very large tall fir trees, spaced like a teepee. At the top was a hut which in the summer was manned, keeping a lookout for fires. Our antenna was mounted on the hut's roof. I did actually climb up there once, but it was pretty hairy getting back down, I can assure you. The radio hut was underneath the tower, about 8 feet off the ground, and access was via a ladder. A wire compound surrounded the site. Many hours were spent just monitoring the emergency channel on single sideband. The other 2 stations in Sydney and Darwin could be heard with surprisingly strong signals. I did on one occasion hear the Coast Guard in Hawaii. Such was the radio coverage. The transceiver was a Cobra. When the group had meetings at Horst's house, out came the cold beer from the 2 fridges in his garage. Horst worked for Swan Breweries. I returned to the UK in February '83, and my passion for radio, I passed the RAE and had the call sign G1FPM. A year later, I passed the Morse test at Ilfracombe Maritime Radio Station, Ilfracombe Radio, and now have my call sign G0DQH. It was only when I moved this way I joined the Itchen Valley Radio Club and then the Scar Analog TV Group and then the BATC. I've been looking for photos, but I can't find any at the moment. And I know they're somewhere, but probably hidden in all the junk that I've got in under my desk here and in the cupboard behind me. Of course. Anyway, I'm not going to come on the second go. We've got to be up early in the morning, and we'll say good evening to everyone, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. This is G0DQH, and I'm located in Chandler's Ford, and we're approximately halfway between Southampton and Winchester. Okay, see you all next week. G0DQH, no dropping carrier.
Okay. Good evening, all. I hate to keep banging on about audio levels. I would advise everyone, because I do this, watch the whole net back on YouTube tomorrow. And then you'll see if your level is matching anybody else. Because tonight we've had people that are extremely loud and someone who was extremely slow. Low, not slow, low in level. And it's so simple, just watch yourself back on the telly and you'll see what you're doing wrong. It's very easy to do that. Has anybody heard of Pluto Nano? Because there was a Spanish guy in Barcelona this afternoon, and he was using it said on his caption going across the bottom of the screen, he was using a Pluto Nano, which I hadn't heard of. But they are on AliExpress. I've looked at them, they're very cheap. It doesn't appear to have an SD card slot, but it does have two USB-C connectors. So presumably you need a programmer to do anything with it. I can't remember his call sign, and I can't remember names either, which is why when I always transfer the running order onto a text document on the screen with people's call signs, and if I can remember their names, I type their name there as well. If I can't remember the names, I look them up on QRZ. But there's several people that don't bother putting not even their first name on QRZ, and it would be very helpful to me if they did. That's all. So I always do this. A few hours before going on air tonight, I decided, I'll update the operating system on the transmitter and the receiver, and I'll update the version of Go that I've written all the software in. And I did all that, and it all worked, no problem. I powered the things down, and when I powered them up, this is what I get. Just switch to this camera. This is what I get. You see the fonts? They're all little squares, and it's the same on both of them. Just little squares. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can see that. So that's rendered the data readouts, absolutely unusable. All those little squares mean it's a null character, I think, and that's how it's been displayed. So for some reason it's not picking up the fonts. Now I would put this down to one of two things. Obviously I did two types of upgrade. They run on Bookworm, and there was a security update for Bookworm. Have they moved the fonts somewhere else? But I've checked, and they're in user share, which is where they should be, so I don't know what's going on there. Go, well, all my other Go programs seem to be resolved fonts, so I don't know what it is, but it's extremely annoying, and it's going to take some digging to get it working. Another thing that I'm having problems with, this is what's fun about this hobby, isn't it? I've been playing with trying to send two named Unix pipes or FIFOs one for audio and one for video, 2 pipes into FFmpeg. Now that's doable. I can do it in certain circumstances, but in my particular case, I'm trying to do it by generating the video and the audio myself, so I can produce 2 individual streams, which is the ultimate goal. So there's a bit of a chicken and egg situation going on here, because I don't know what's wrong. Maybe I'm not encoding the video correctly, whatever, you know, the video format, I should say, which is supposed to be YUV420p. That's what it's supposed to be. And the audio is supposed to be S16LE, which, as far as I know, it is. That's how I'm supposed to be doing it. But I could be wrong. Then again, I just don't know what's going on. I don't know whether it's my FFmpeg command script or what. No idea. It's driving me nuts. Finally, you mentioned the end of World War II celebrations and all that. Yeah, it's always pretty spectacular. And I heard on the news today that in Germany, you know, the place we were saving from the Nazis, they've banned all use of any Russian flag, memorabilia, or anything to do with the Soviet Union, blah, blah, blah. Totally forgetting that without the Soviet Union, we wouldn't have won World War II. They were the major factor. It wasn't the Americans, it wasn't the British, it was actually the Soviet Union. And if you don't believe me, check your history. And they're just choosing to ignore that completely. I think that's absolutely disgraceful, actually. Anyhow, with that little rant, which no doubt upset quite a lot of people, we're over to Dave G7EEV from EA7KIR on the Thursday Night Net. Over.
Right, okay. Thanks. G4EV, G4XAT. Right, okay. All sorts of good stuff. That's a really surprising rain shower you had there, Keith. And thanks for filling in the last couple of weeks. It's a relief that everything seems to be working fine. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, because the stream is fed off the same splitter that's feeding my ride, and it's not locking me. I think that's better. There must be a loose lead in there somewhere. That's showing 5 on the stream. Whoops, no, not that. That's too loud, isn't it, that audio? Let's try turning that down a few more dB. Right, okay. Yeah, 6 on my ride and whatever it is on the stream. Okay. 46 years, Colin. Struth. I guess you've got all your stamps stamped up then. Good on you. As I've bored people with it several times before, after 8 years I'm still waking up at 6 AM. Not quite with the regularity I used to, but there we are. Keith, if you're on air on Saturday, I'll hopefully mostly be on DATV, up this end of the band probably, and I'll jump on it and sit on it. Not sure quite what they have planned. Justin's taken along his mixing deck and A10 Mini or whatever he uses. And I'm just going mob-handed with TX Solutions. I think, Dave, you said you were messing with your oscillator in your Pluto. I mean, a lot of people have GPS locked theirs, but I changed them both to one of the early precision oscillators that was available. when they became available and popular. And I have to say, it's the LNB that drifts, not the oscillator in the Pluto. Because when the sun comes in and out, the beacon wanders of a kilohertz or two up and down, in and out of the pass band. But that's a bog standard bullseye. They'll just have to put up with that if they want to play at narrowband. What else? Simon, I've turned the res down. I'd be interested to see what you think about that. It was at the maximum res, which is what I used to run DATV Easy at 15 frames a second. Or at least that's what I thought I'd set in OBS. So hopefully that's okay. At this point in time I should be good for next Thursday, Keith, so enjoy the break. I'll let you know if there's an issue there. Michael, well, world history, I don't really know much about that bit, but yes, it's all very obscure, isn't it? And you know what's going on in the Straits of Hormuz. That was a whole, well, whatever, no politics, whatever. We're all reaping the benefits of that in inverted commas. Okay, interesting that. There's some font used on G8MNY's bulletins, and it's a nightmare to print out on a modern printer. It's fine if you've got a really old dot matrix or something like that, but I think they've all been converted to internet standard, and yeah, although it's in ASCII code, all the diagrams, which is novel, but as John points out, it takes up a few kilobyte instead of several megabyte. Right, nothing burning on there. So far on my list I've got Simon and Keith and Colin. Roger, I think you said you'd come back if somebody asked you something, so by all means pop up on the chat and tell me if you want another go. And Michael, you can tell me if the audio is a bit closer to where it ought to be. I really ought to build one of your double meters, because I thought that was a really impressive project, but I've got too much else going on, basically. I think it's the bottom line there. And aware of the ticking clock. Okay, round to you then, Simon. G4 ELI to take it next, and other participants, please pop up if you want another go if you're not already listed. I'll update the list in a moment. So round to you, Simon, from G4 XAT. Pop the test card up and away we go.
There we go. Just give a few seconds for everyone to synchronize up. Yes, resolution is much better now, Gareth. I don't have the luxury of some of the code ing, which is in FFmpeg. And just for testing, I've dropped my resolution down, and I can see on the microphone arm here and on the radiator over there, I can see the effects, but I'm running on a large 4K monitor. Using a lower resolution helps the encoder because it's got less data to pass through, and there are various settings in the software. But the FFmpeg work is very good, it must be said. Interestingly, the project manager for the codecs I use, it's the Windows Media Foundation stuff in Microsoft. The guy is a very keen digital amateur telly guy. That's all I've got to say there. Regarding waking up, I always wake up before 5 o'clock. Doesn't matter what time I go to bed. I usually watch a bit of television and go to bed about 11 or 12, but I always wake up before 5, think what I'm doing coding-wise, and the time between about 5 o'clock and 7:30 when I go out with the hairy hound, It's the most productive time of the day. It always has been, and I've been working at home since 1991. And this is the way I like to do it, although I'm technically retired. And I'll probably keep this up until I'm about 75 or so, 68 now. So sort of the way I'm pacing myself is carry on working aggressively, shall we say, for another 6 or 7 years. And then I do plan on slowing down. My next project will, in all probability, be an RTTY contest station. I'd like to get into doing RTTY contesting on 40 metres. So I plan on writing the software to do it, and of course AI driven, which will be a very interesting learning curve, like SDR television, which was a massive learning curve, considering I knew 3 years ago, it'll be almost 3 years since I started it, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing whatsoever about digital amateur telly. And it's not just the DATV, it's all the digital signal processing going behind it, things like the Gardner timing error recovery, all that sort of thing. It's been a huge learning curve. The difference between what I've learnt in this project alone and what I learnt at university, what I learnt at university, I'd be lucky to get a job sweeping up the leaves at a large tech company. So, 7-3 everyone, see you all next week, I hope. Over to the Channel Isles. And interesting story about the liberation. They forgot a few. Yes, quite a few German prisoners, well, many German prisoners of war on the Isle of Man, of course. And 1 or 2 came back. And quite a few Italians who were prisoners of war stayed, married local girls. And the best ice cream on the Isle of Man when I was a lad was Italian. Anyway, enough. Over to you, Keith, from G4ELI.
Yeah, G4ELI, yeah. G6EFB. Okay, Simon. Yeah, G4ELI, yeah. G6EFB. Okay, Simon. Yeah, mute that, which is done. Yeah, G4ELI. No, I'm not. Turn the volume down on that one then. Okay, that didn't work. Not to worry. Yeah, kind of. There's quite a few Germans stayed and married local people, and very nice people they are indeed. And we get lots of people coming back to visit. And the usual consensus from all of the people that come over is these are the islands that saved my life, because there was no fighting. It was more or less a big holiday camp. Had its problems with lack of food at the end, but yeah, all good. Roger, that engine is absolutely amazing. Your machining skills are unbelievable. I'm not even going to try and attempt anything like that. I'm just, as I say, I've got all the gear and no idea. I can do things, they work, but nothing to the standard that you turn out there, Roger. So congratulations. And congratulations to you there, Simon, likewise with your SDR television. It's amazing. I don't know what I'd do without it now. I use it all the time. It's my go-to software. Kind of, I could ask you very nicely if you'd support the Muntjac, but there's other ways of doing that, so not to worry. But Muntjac is an interesting device. I don't know what there is in the way of APIs and things, but yeah, your programming skills are second to none as well there, Simon. Yeah, happy to help out when needed to run the net there, Gareth. So if you have any problems, just let us know. And yeah, we'll try and be on from the castle. We've got to carry everything up about 100 foot worth of steps. So we'll see how the knees and everything hold up, carting everything up there. So we'll try and get on, and we'll look for you and hopefully have a QSO there, Gareth. Right, stand by, Roger. We'll put it round to you. Nothing much more to add. And you can't have my spare 2.5 minutes there, Roger. G4, sorry, Colin. G4KLB and the group.
Okay, thanks a lot, Keith. Very good indeed. Okay, there we are. Let's turn that off. That's it. Go over there. That's it. I must find a quicker way of doing this. I use this input director to go between three. I've got 3 screens running at the minute, and sometimes I need to get somewhere a bit quicker. But yeah, I've got. There we go. Let's have a look. So what I've got here is I've got this one. Oh, I didn't start the timer. Oh, how a miss of me. Let's let's start the timer. There we are. I've sneaked a few seconds there. I'll try and bear that in mind. And then monitoring QO-100, couple of Winter Hills on there, and then on this this is a different PC. Got OBS running and free stream coder, etc. And then I've got the chat, which is actually on my laptop, but I can't see the blinking thing. So I've got this. I use this monitor up here. So that's the arrangement in here. That's a port stand, but it's normally doing Winter Hill duties. That one, not Winter Hill. Normally doing Langston. That's mainly my Langston. The port stands are over here. So there we go. Right. Anyway, there we are. That's a whistle-stop tour of the shack. I should have a camera behind me, really, shouldn't I, like the others do? That's but the trouble is there's a window there. So it's never a very good idea to have the camera in the window. So oh dear, oh dear. Right, okay then. Oh, again, there's someone under my feet here. What's we haven't. There we are. Charlie's in here. Look, and only Charlie. You all right, boy? He's guarding the CPU. So he doesn't move much until he doesn't move much until he realises that I'm standing up. Then he'll want to go in the garden after this, won't you? Do you want to go garden? Do you want to go garden, Charlie? He knows that nothing's going to happen till I move, I think. But oh dear, oh dear. Right, okay then. Yeah, thanks for everyone's comments on that. So yeah, I'm hoping to slowly get the shack into a bit of operating. The only downside is my number 1 son has pinched my soldering iron. He only seems to want to use the Metcal like I do. So I'm thinking, where's the soldering iron gone? He's in there. He's doing a few things with some switches and an encoder and such like. So he's hijacked my soldering iron, which is it's not the only soldering iron in here, but I favour the other one, and so does he by the sound of it. But yeah, I looked to see if I could get him one on eBay for cheap. But it's like, no, they're ridiculously expensive. so that was a non-starter. Right, okay then, let's see. It's over to Michael now. And yes, excellent idea of yours, actually. People will watch the stream back and then they will know. I probably should do that myself, I suspect. Right, okay then. So over to you, Michael. EA7KIR to take it. G4KLB.
Thank you, Colin. Yeah, Gareth, that's the box you're talking about. I did actually show that in one of those Cat 20 something part 2s. The meter on the left is what I'm sending, and the meter on the right is what's coming back. And the reason it looked different, of course, is because of the delay. And then you've got the 3 buttons. The top one you can select between transmit and receive to whatever you're listening to. that's a mute button, and it's with this at the moment it's in mute because I'm on auto. The middle button is auto mute, so when I go into transmit it automatically mutes my speakers. And of course we've got the volume control there, which is handy because it's in front of me, not somewhere else. And the circuit card is like this somehow. So there's quite a lot on that, you know, there's a lot of soldering involved, unfortunately. And that's just one of the cards, that's the biggest one. I think there's 3 cards inside it actually, I can't remember now. But it's quite a fun build. Unfortunately, let me just get my screen back. Yeah, okay, get rid of the Kai card because I can't see what's going on. Unfortunately, I made a mistake when I had the board fabricated. That board I've just been showing you, and there's one minor error which I didn't spot until the PCB World or whatever they're called returned them to me. PCB Way, is it? And I've had to fix that with a Stanley knife and a bit of jump wire, you know, but it's quite a tricky one to do actually. And that's why I haven't published it. If I ever do get round to, because you're not the only one, Gareth, that's expressed an interest. FKK Martin also threatened to build one at one time. However, I do keep the KiCad up to date because it was like version 7 when I did that. Well, now it's version 10, so every time there's a version, I update, you know, because if you try and update from an old one to a much later one, you can have serious problems. I've found that in the past. So you've got to keep these things up to date. So one of these days I might actually, but if you really wanted to build one, or anyone else, and you are prepared to get a Stanley knife out and faff around with what you need to do, you're very welcome. I could publish it right now actually if you wanted, but anyhow, that's it. But it works great. I find it quite useful actually. I like hardware, you know, knobs and switches. Not like I was showing you earlier with the transmitter and the receiver suddenly losing all the fonts. Great. Well, that doesn't happen with hardware switches and LCD, you know, not LCDs, 7-digit displays. They're 7-segment displays, I should say. They're pretty good, aren't they? Right, well, that's it from me. I think now we'll be back to yes, we're back to Gareth. Over to you, Gareth, from EA7. Oh, and thanks for running the net and everything. Yeah. Over and out.
Righty-ho, the A7KR G4X80, thanks Michael. Yeah, I just caught a tab end of my audio, and the fan roar, I mean I've gone to quite lengths recently to shut the fan up a bit, but I'm just wondering if Simon's AGC is so good that it's hiking the audio. Let's just turn it off a bit, see if that makes any difference. You shouldn't be listening to my fan. I can see my voice, and then the fan, yeah, that looks a bit better. You shouldn't really be hearing my fan. There is a slight whisper of it in the shack, but nothing like as bad as it was. And I think this amp's a lot more efficient than the other one, because I haven't managed to get the second speed fan switch to close so far. It's also drawing about 1.5 amps less than the other one for the same level of RF, at least on the screen anyway. Why don't I get rid of my test card, eh? That would be good, wouldn't it? Still a bit tired, I think. That's the other thing. It gets to later in the afternoon, I say, oh, we'll have a sit down and a cup of tea. But there we are. Keep plodding on. One last thing. I'm sure you'd all absolutely love to see pictures I have to say this is probably the colour it was. Both the loch and the sky. This is that's Fort William in the distance at the top end of the loch. And we were on the beach, if you call it a beach, just outside the Caledonian Hotel, which was the cheapest. It was alright. There's an awful lot of rooms in a small area, and the breakfast bar was good because you could just keep going back and having breakfast. Then it lasts all day. It's an all-day breakfast. Okay. Yeah, there's just so many things I haven't tried. Like I read the release notes on 1.016 and thought, oh yeah, that's good. He said he'd do that, and then I didn't do anything with it. I ignored it. I just ran the software, checked it worked, bingo. But yes, I'm amazed this old i7 cuts it so easily. Like if I look at my CPU. It's only running at 35%, whereas earlier it was on 40, so I see what you're saying. It cuts down the load. So that's not bad at all. Michael, I honestly, I love those dials. You've done a beautiful job on them. I remember when you showed us them. But it was the LilyGo one I was thinking of having a crack at. Because there's an awful lot of bits on that board. I've got a microphone here. Try and lower it gently onto the desk. Camera there. 3 monitors on one PC right over there. And it all sort of works despite the shambolic mess that the bench is. Hey, you don't want to hear about that? Right, okay. Thanks everybody for your inputs, and have a good week. See you next time, and I'll have a brief look for that, Keith, and maybe catch you on the Saturday. Yeah, knees. We walked up Arthur's Seat, Jane and I. That was another blue sky day. Well, it was about 2 octa with a bit of wind at the top. There's probably a really fascinating picture. Hang on. Of me on top of the mountain. Get there in a minute. I'll tell you what we did see. How about this? Look at the size of those organ pipes. Absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything that large. They weren't playing, unfortunately, or fortunately. Hold on while we get to the top of, here we go. Here's the top of Arthur's Seat. And I took a handheld with me and had one QSO. And I thought I'll get good DX from up here. No, I spoke to somebody in Edinburgh. I could have chucked him a paper dart and it would probably got the message through. Anyway, enough of that. I'll leave you all to it. Thanks for your input. See you next time. 7-3's all, G4XAT off and clear.
Well, that took a while to sync up. Just seeing what this looks like with this resolution, that's all. G4ELI. Yeah. Right. Use that in future. Why not? Save a few cycles. G4ELI going away.
M9 NTR just putting in slightly. Simon, if you're still there, mate, I did put my name down on the list, but obviously it got missed. I wonder if you could send me the link to where you get your latest version of 1.016, because I still like to keep it up. I think it's all working now, but I just want to get the latest one. Mike 9.
That's synced up better. Okay, Nigel, I don't see your... if you're Nigel 2B 77, then I've got your email address. So just let me know what your email address is. If you're not Nigel 2B, then send me your email address, or send me an email, and obviously I'll see your address. Over.
M9NTR. No, it's I'm definitely. Oh, that's sure. No. Yeah, my email is reeve124@gmail.com. Dead simple. reeve124@gmail.com.
Yes, just bear with me. And dum dilly dum. And email. Yes, I've got it. I see you on QRZ. Okay, right. I'll get that done in the next few minutes or so. And you'll be up with 1016. I think the main thing, I know I fixed a bug somewhere, but also the main thing I've done is you can send it to lower resolution. And you can easily adjust the resolution. So, say, for example, you're transmitting with a bandwidth of 125 kilosamples per second. Bandwidth is the wrong word, sample rate. It's a lower sample rate. You can drop your resolution down. So, if you're going out portable on a dodgy laptop, whatever, you can drop it right down. And I will get it working at 66 at some stage. So, there we go. Enough from me. Dog's been awfully quiet. You see a bit of him down in his basket. We should have a dog net instead of a DATV net. Self, Colin, Mike, MJW ought to get a dog. Right, 7-3. I'll get this email sent you, Nigel.